youtube.com/ESPN1320. Just go there, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. When we go live about 9:57 a.m. every morning, you'll get a notification, and then you open up the video and hang out with us all day. And one long live stream, us and then D'Lo and Casey taking you from noon to 4.
That's right.
You think the Pacers need to change course on Tyrese Halleberttons' dad?
I do. I watched.
Please explain.
I watched. Following the game, Charles Barkley went off on this. He actually looked into the screen and called for Adam Silver to lift the ban on John Haliburton, and said, look, let the guy back in the building.
Sure.
We don't need to forever punish somebody for a mistake. Again, punches weren't thrown, all that stuff.
Yeah.
There was no violence.
Yeah.
And his point is look, he will never do something so stupid ever again.
Sure.
And if he did, then you ban him permanently and you don't ever let him back in an NBA arena. That's fine.
Yep.
We all understand. Yep. I agree with it. Look, I think John Haliburton, I've met him multiple times, and I don't think that's who he is. That's not who he is. That, there are players' parents that is who they are. They are the overbearing, baseball dad or basketball, the dude who's yelling and screaming at everybody the entire game, and who is pushing for his kids' playing time and all that.
Yeah,
there are those people. I think he just got caught up in a moment and was offensive, and I think you're okay, he didn't do anything that was so reprehensible that you can't come back from. And at this point, look, his kid is out there owning the NBA. This is such a moment for Tyrese Halleberton and for the Haliburton family.
Yeah.
That I just hate for one mistake that again was rude and
yeah, man,
over the top. But
it was.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Yeah.
It was a lame ass thing to do.
Oh no, I totally agree.
Tyrese handled it properly. I thought John Haliburton handled it properly.
Yep.
He got banned for an entire series. The entire second round series against the Cavs. So he missed, what was that, 2 games?
Well, they said they banned him indefinitely.
Right. Which is smart, because now you haven't put a number of games on it. If he was out there being a jerk about it, then you could go, all right, indefinite suspension continues. But now you can lift it. You don't even have to make it public. You can be like, hey, just Adam Silver, just call up John Haliburton or whoever from the league office, calls up John Haliburton and goes, hey, you're good. We don't want to hear word one of your presence at the game. And if he gets shown on TV, that's one thing. But we don't want, if it becomes a problem again, you're done forever. The Pacers can put him in a suite. Let him sit in the owner's box.
Yeah.
Or wherever. I don't know if there's an owner's box in the NBA the way there is in the NFL. But if that's the concern, you can just make sure he's not courtside.
Yeah, just put him in the family section, 8 rows deep.
That's it.
Yeah. And, again, don't let him walk onto the court. Don't give him a credential to walk on the court, because basically it was a family credential that they had given him, but that was you can take that away too.
Yeah.
Although you can make it so he can still access a family room and stuff like that back behind the scenes, but he can't be anywhere near the court.
Yeah, man. It's just, let the guy back in. Did you see the videos of him partying last night though?
No.
It looked like, I didn't see exactly. It looked like he was at a watch party, maybe at a bar.
Yeah.
And just having a grand old time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, salute, man. I hope the NBA does the right thing.
He's a good dude, and I just hate for him to be didn't we have T. Morant get in a fight with Shannon Sharp on the sideline on court side?
And he still gets to be there.
Yeah, you still get to be there. There are weird things that happen, and sometimes you have to give some allowance, especially for a really, really proud dad who's just living in the moment.
That's it.
Yeah. So I'm pulling for John Haliburton to be back in the building.
Me too.
Yep.
I'm also, I've decided I liked Tyrese Halleberton fine going into the playoffs. I was pretty, I don't want to say on the fence about him, but no, he's a good player. He's a star player. He's not, he hasn't ascended to superstar yet.
Yeah.
I see him do it in the playoffs where he's not running from the ball like he did last playoffs at times, which I don't think is unreasonable. But man, really, really awesome player. And the way he handled the thing with his dad, the way he handled last night doing the choke sign too early.
Oh yeah.
And then after the game being like, yeah, I blew it. Like I didn't plan to do it. I was going to do it when you know, I thought the opportunity struck and I did it and I did it too early. So now I probably can't do it again because people are going to say I'm aura farming, which is apparently a thing. So I love the self-awareness. I love the fact that he is willing to talk trash and mix it up in that pro wrestler type of way.
Well, he's a huge WWE fan.
Right. And you can tell in the way he carries
huge
you can
WWE
tell the way
fan.
Yeah, he's doing a show. He's performing.
Yep.
And the best part is, for me, he can take it. When he messes up or he does something wrong, he's the first one to be like, "Yep, damn, they got me." And that is what I can appreciate. It's the people who talk all that trash and then they lose and they keep trying to talk trash as though they didn't just lose.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so fun. What Tyrese Hallebertton does, the way he plays, the way he carries himself, it's just fun. He's an easy ass dude to root for. And I know that it's here in Sacramento. I know there's always going to be a little bit of for some people, not for everybody, a hesitation. Because, of course, he was drafted by the Kings and played for the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's always going to be a hesitation from some people to just fully back Tyrese Hallebertton. But for me, man, I just find it impossible to not root for the guy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Years ago, you know, we had the lockout, right, in 1998. The Kings, like during that offseason, they had drafted Jason Williams, right? And no one really knew Jason Williams all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he played at Marshall and he had played at Florida, but he got kicked off the team in Florida. He hadn't really been part of the draft process. The draft process, even at that time, was very basic. And the Kings held a fan fest.
Mm-hmm.
And right before the season, you know, they had like an emergency start to the season, a reboot. I think there's only 56 games in that season. And the second that Jason Williams stepped on the court, he started dealing. And I'm talking like things you had never, ever seen a basketball player do before.
Mm-hmm.
Even at that point, you know, like the mixtape, the NBA mixtape stuff, like, or the street baller stuff.
Yeah.
It was sort of big, but you literally, a lot of the time, you had to have like a VCR to watch any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Watching him step on the court, and you instantly said, "Oh my gosh, that's magical!" I'm watching that dude right there can play basketball. I want to watch so much more of him. And I swear, like, I've watched so many young players come through Sacramento, and you know, they can be top tier prospects. They can be whatever. You watch them step on the court and like, oh, he's going to be good. All right, good. You had a moment. That's the second Tyrese Hallebertton walked on the court and started moving around and started doing. You're like, oh my gosh, he's got it.
He just gets it.
He does. He understands the game at a higher level than anyone else on the court.
Yep. And
he's moving at a different pace. He's moving in. He knows exactly where he wants to go. He's using players on the court as bumpers so he can get to where he needs to go. And he's looking at guys and giving them like, hey, I need you, like,
manipulating defenses. Yeah,
exactly. He has an innate gift of like controlling everything on the court.
Yep.
And we talk about guys like Steve Nash. We talk about guys like Chris Paul. Like, these guys don't come around very often.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to watch somebody who just gets the game of basketball at such a high level, it's amazing. Now, again, I didn't disagree. Like, was the trade stunning when they traded him for Domas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was stunning. But I didn't disagree with it because you're trading a guy who's averaging 14 points a game and who has a really bright future, but is having some conflict on the court, just play style conflict with another one of your young stars. And you were able to trade that for an all-star center.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that trade. And I'll still say, like, did you give up potential for something great? You did, but you also got back something that was excellent as well. And has it worked out the way that no, it hasn't. But that a lot of it is circumstantial. Like, do the Kings look different with, if they kept building? Do they look different if De'Aaron Fox didn't just get upended and leave? And
sure,
yeah, there are so many ways in which this could have been way better than it is today, and that the trade still would have looked like an even Steven trade.
Yeah, it doesn't anymore.
It doesn't look like it anymore, but
here's where we can nuance it to death.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to do that, like there's definitely space for that. But I think in historical terms, the way it's going to get viewed, like you're right, in the moment, made all the sense.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this is the route they have to go. De'Aaron Fox is still unproven. He's making a lot of money. That contract's going to be hard to move at this point. You can get a guy
2 years in, it still made a lot of sense.
Yeah, man. You're going to get a guy who unlocks what you want to do offensively. Averages a double-double, averages near a triple-double for a player who's a good young player. Like, okay, that makes sense in the moment. It just hasn't aged great. And whether, we in Sacramento know, like, man, yeah, because the Kings didn't build correctly. The Kings didn't do the right things after the trade where the Pacers hit all the right buttons. Hit every single correct button, and the Kings hit like none. So I shouldn't say none. They got Keegan Murray, but they didn't hit a lot of the correct buttons. But I think in the bigger picture and the bigger discussion, I just don't think there's any way that trade is ever going to be viewed historically as even the way it was after the 2022-2023 season.
Oh no, I don't.
It's just never. It's never going to get there.
And I think the other thing I'll point out is that you can see it now. It's a lot easier to build around Tyrese Halleberton than it is to build around Domantas Sabonis. And I don't think that's it's not even, or the guys that were here were just really bad at building around Domantas Sabonis. And they didn't understand that was really what you should be doing. Like, you brought in a foundational piece, and the idea should have been to continue to build around your two foundational pieces in the correct way.
Yeah.
And you stopped your build halfway through.
So
now you've got, a house with a bunch of missing windows and like half the roof's on, and you're like, what exactly happened here?
It's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Really tough. I want to save the Kings